Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next episode review of Season 2 of Yashahime, Episode 4. The Barrier of Mount Musubi. Mount Musabi. Or Musubi, I think it's called Musubi. And I say, after a long waited period, which has been a long overdue thing, we finally get a chance, which I really had to give thumbs up because we finally got to see our three half demons finally saw their parents. Finally, after all this time, even though with Moroha it was brief though, but still it was nice. It was nice to see that. Still, I was really looking forward to that. So maybe she gets her in there. But I was really glad for basically, even though it was brief though, but I was really glad and how they acknowledged it as well. So yeah, so episode 4 I really did enjoy it, and we got a couple more explanations, things we got to see as well, which is nice too. And just really going off how it goes. First, we open up with Rin once again in the tree. And then we cut to that our trio, they finally reach the mountain, and then we see cut to with Rion, and then we inside the mountain, but then we get a flashback which takes place 600 years ago, when Rion, which we've heard that she is the daughter of Kirimaru, and she's watching him fight with the great dog demon Toga. Okay, it's nice to see Toga again. They're fighting each other. It looks like that Kirimaru is struggling fighting against him, and then Toga takes off his arm. And he's asking why didn't you finish him? Toga says because there's a child watching. So he didn't want to do that. And then we cut to a Sesshomaru at the mountain. They're at the mountain, and then our three main characters, they walk past the barrier. Well, Moroha basically she gets in there fine, because since she has spirit power, she gets in fine basically, since she has spirit power thanks to Kagome. She's there, she sees Rion talking to her, and then while with Setsuna and Toa, they get separated. They get separated for a bit, which I'll get into that though. But we cut to see of Kirimaru shirtless. Yeah. He has a dream butterfly with him as well, and we cut to the other flashback to when he's on his ship. We get a cameo appearance from the two of the perils. We see Konton, okay, and Kyuki, which was kind of nice. Okay, we got to see them again. Because I said this takes place 600 years prior, so of course they'd be still alive back then. Okay, it was cool to see Konton and Kyuki again. And then Kirimaru was walking into his ship carrying his dismembered arm, and talking with Zero again. And he's very pissed. He's not pissed at Toga though. He's just very pissed at himself. And when he's holding the broken horn that he has of his, and then that's when we see how Riku is born. He just whatever power he used, he just drops his horn, and then it forms into Riku. So okay, finally we get to see how Riku was made from. Well, we know he's from the broken horn now, but how he was born like that. So we finally got to see that. Okay. So we knew he was an incarnation of Kirimaru. Kind of like similar like what Naraku in his incarnations, like Kagura. So yeah, and Kirimaru tells Riku to dispose of his severed arm, and we see the dream butterfly again. He's like, taking some of Kirimaru's, where his dreams or whatever. And then we cut back to with Moroha with Rion. And like she's like very see-through. How you call it? She's not like a ghost though, but like Moroha can't touch her basically. Like she looks like a spirit basically. But she's basically not though. And then we cut to back with Toa and Setsuna. They hear the voice of when they get separated. They hear a voice which is like Kirimaru saying that somebody like who are you going to protect? And then is there something are you willing to let go of? So who are you going to protect, and what are you willing to let go of? So it's the two things that the voice is telling them. And then, but they get transported to different places, and go back with Moroha. We see the dream butterfly coming in, and it's like giving the powers to Rion, or I think it's like giving it to Rion. And they said mentioned before in that previous episode, what is Kirimaru afraid of? I think that he put Rion back there, I think is a way to protect her. I think it's a way to protect her, because what he's afraid of. I'm not entirely sure on that though. I think why they put the barrier there is probably because to protect Rion. But Moroha's talking to her, saying, "Oh, hello." Retelling her how Moroha was able to get through the barrier because she had spirit powers. But since the twins don't, they didn't fully pass through the barrier. So Moroha wants to go and get them. And then we see Toa. She's like in this illusion. It's an illusion. She's in the present, but everything's all gray and washed out. Basically, everything's everywhere is all gray. And then we see Setsuna, who's been transported really into the Tree of Ages. And then that's where she sees her mother, Rin. And then back with Rion talking to Moroha, saying that she'll use this way to tell, basically tell the same thing the voice was telling the twins, using this device, which is the Kyokion root, and opens up a portal saying to enter us. If you enter it, telling what the voice was telling the twins, like, are you what things you wish to protect and things are you willing to let go of? And saying it's a corridor that lies between the rift between the past and future, and that it's also the border between the world and the next, basically the world and the afterlife. And so she goes through it. Like we see Moroha sleeping on that thing, but it's kind of like the way her other part of herself is transported to the barrier, and she enters the border of the afterlife, where she sees the giant skeleton, which is the big skeletal remains of her grandfather, of Toga. And yeah, so it's cool to see that again, and then seeing Toga, the skeletal remains of Toga again, and then we see Kagome and Inuyasha, which I guess they've been wandering in there for the whole entire time. It's like they're in no big hurry to get out because they're just walking around, and it seems like they're in no big rush or anything. But Inuyasha's Tetsaiga is reacting to something, and then same with the Moroha's arrows that she carries, and they look up to the sky, and this is basically what you saw. This is what you saw in the trailer. They see Moroha flying through the air. I guess because wherever she's going through that portal that she's taking her, it's going straight past through the border of the afterlife into where Toa and Setsuna are at. So she couldn't stop if she wanted to. So it's like basically a one-way trip through the barrier of the afterlife and then wherever towards where the twins are. So they see her, and they're calling out to her, and she sees them, and she recognizes which. So I guess apparently, I was wrong on this. Because remember I said a while back that when back before when Toa went back to the feudal era, when Sota was showing her the photo album of his sister, right? Back when he was a kid and his sister, right? I said before, why if Sota showed Toa the photo album, right? Why didn't he show Moroha? Because that was her parents. I guess I was wrong, and I guess there in this quick flashback, I guess apparently he did. I guess. So I guess he did show her. It just did there. It showed her. Sota showed Moroha the album of her parents. So I was wrong on that. I guess because I was like, wait a minute. If Sota was showing Toa the photo album, why didn't he show Moroha? Because that was her parents. So. But apparently he did, because we see it right. We see it here in this scene where she sees the photo album. So yeah, they're calling out to say it is mom and dad, and they're happy to see her. So they really were happy to see her, and Inuyasha is like, wow, she really has grown up, basically. Yeah, she really has grown up. So that they were happy to see her. So that made it worth it for me. At least they acknowledged that, since it's been years has passed now, they've acknowledged that that they have really grown up. Well, she has grown up. So that made me very happy about that. Finally, after all this time, even though it was brief though, because the way she was going, she couldn't stop though, due to that though. But still, even though it was very brief, she saw them. They saw her. They acknowledged that she's now grown up. I was happy about that. To me, that was worth it. So then, back with Toa. She she's at the school where she was at in the first season, and then she's hearing this, and then she's hearing that voice, which is sounded like her teacher kidding, which we get the explanation here. That I'll skip it anyway, but you find out that which I kind of knew, even I called before, that kidding was a part of Kirimaru. Because he had the same voice, and his name is part of Kirimaru's name. So he had to be connected with him, and which this episode proves it, because the severed arm that Riku tossed into the Bonier's well. Yeah, he tossed the severed arm into the Bonier's well, and that severed hand that became Kidding. So yeah, that becoming Toa's homeroom teacher. So he knows about this. We show how he's walking up to the temple, the Higurashi Shrine. But I'll get to that in a second, because we're getting back into with with Setsuna. We see Trikyo. I also call it Trikyo because that's what I use in the voice of Kikyo. Trikyo is talking to Setsuna. That's how she was able to get her, because with her Naginaga, the Yukiri no Takakuri. And it's talking to her, saying that's how she got it, because of her weapon. And we see that she tells her that's her mom. And the tone of the violin, that she was always been playing, that's what Marin was singing. And we see a quick glimpse of her when she was pregnant with the twins. That was nice to see. And then that's the reason. That's the tone that she's been playing that violin for. And that's where the Trigger said, "How does it feel to meet your mother again?" And that's why, mother. Yeah. So yeah, she finally acknowledged that is her mother. And then she said, she's telling the trees that why is she still so young, because of what happened with Rin of the Silver Scale Curse, which there was a time when she was 18. she was put in the tree, and that's basically stopped her from aging. When she was put in the tree, she has stopped from aging. So that's why she's still 18 in when she was sealed in. So yeah. So she has not aged in 14 years. And that's when she gets out her violin and starts playing the same tone again. And that's what she wants to protect. And then Towa's walking to the Higurashi shrine, and then Moroha comes down and basically tells him that. Well, when she first saw it, she starts crying, but she didn't know why, and worried about Setsuna. But they get back to the tree, and that's when Setsuna they're on the Tree of Ages, and that's when they tell her that's her mother. Setsuna tells Towa that's her mother, Rin. So yeah, so we finally the part I did enjoy, because now Moroha finally saw her parents, and now we finally see the twins face to face, finally seeing their mother for the first time. Even though like I said, we saw Towa like flashing, who's this woman? But face to face, finally, that's acknowledging that's their mother. So that was really nice, and which I'm very happy with. That's why I'm very happy with this episode. And they hear Kirimoto that same voice. They're saying that he allowed you to enter Mount Musubi. So yeah, so to keep his daughter company. And then they get back to the real time. Towa says to walk in with Moroha with Rion, saying that it was not a dream. And the device that we saw earlier with Moroha, that's the key. That's the Kyokyon root that what Towa needed. And then we cut back to the present, where we see Kidding walk into the Higurashi shrine, talking to Kagome's mother, saying, "Oh, I'm just here today, just pay my respects to the shrine." And then we see Kagome's grandfather comes in, and he's talking, and he speaks to him, and then Kirin is asking, "Do you have any those Shikon Jewel keychain amulets you sell here?" Remember how we saw in the very first episode of Inuyasha, because we saw, it's a replica of the Shikon Jewel. Because remember the Cat Boyo was wanting to keep on playing with it. Yeah, little amulets of the Shikon Jewel that he was selling at the shrine. So okay, but Kirin's asking, do you have any you sell here? And you get a little bit of something that's seems a little bit strange, because Kagome's grandfather has no knowledge of that. Because he's like, Shikon Jewel, do we remember having such a thing? So Kidding is he knows something is not right. So I guess everything is starting somehow is what he suspects, that things in the future are starting to change. So Kidding is he's suspecting something is wrong, because he knows something that the future is starting to change, like how Grandpa doesn't know about the Shikon Jewel and all that. So things are starting to change in the future. And this is where he says the Bonier's well that I came through is no longer there. So yeah, he is the severed arm that was from Kirimaru. So we know that he is actually basically a part. You can say another incarnation of him, like Riku. That's why he has the same voice. So, and he said the Bonier's well is no longer there, and then it ends with him touching the tree, saying, "What should I do?" And we see like a mark on his arm starts glowing. So yeah, episode 4, the barrier at Mount Musubi, I did enjoy. We see, because a lot of things we confirm about that Rion being the daughter of Kirimaru, how Riku was really how he was created, and about Kidding, the teacher for the future, how he really I knew he was a incarnation too of Kirimaru. So we finally got that explanation as well. In the flashbacks too, it's nice to see cameos from Kyuki and Konton as well. And finally, like I said, the best part is when they finally meet their parents. Especially Moroha, even though it was brief because the way she was going, where she was sent to, it was straight past the border of the afterlife. But she saw that it was them, knowing from the photo book that she saw. And I liked how they acknowledged that was her, and Inuyasha saying how she has grown up. To me, that was, even though it was brief, I was fully happy with that. I really was. And then with the twins finally meeting their mother finally face to face, I did enjoy that as well. And although I have to acknowledge the whole thing with the voice of Kirimura was saying, you have to things you have to protect and things you have to willing to let go of. So that's probably the thing that's going to be playing out as well. And now that they got the Kyokyo route for Toa, and which I'll be talking next when I talk about the preview. Okay, yeah, because we see this about the sword, so I'll be talking about that in the preview, the next episode preview, and yeah, I did enjoy this episode. To me, like I said, the fact that all three of them finally saw their parents, well, the twins' mother, Moroha's parents, and that made it worth it for me. I really did enjoy it, so I had to give thumbs up for this because it was a long-awaited thing that I was looking forward to, and for overall, I say it paid off pretty good. Now we need to know how. Because it's funny, like Kagome and Inuyasha, they've been there for the whole time though, but they're just wandering around as if they're in no rush, no way in a rush to get out of there. That's what I find kind of weird about it, though. I don't know, there was some other thing that seemed kind of off, though, but I didn't want to jump to any conclusions yet, though, so I have to wait and see if it plays out, see if I was wrong in this one thing, though, which I'll probably bring up later, though, but I didn't want to jump into conclusions yet, though, so, but overall, yes, episode 4, I did enjoy. Finally, one thing I really wanted to see, and we got it, so. But I was hoping that later on, when they finally get out, then they'll say, "Oh, your mom and dad, I miss you very much," and all that stuff. Hopefully, it's not gonna play like that though. But I'm just in somewhat of a way. So, but yeah, it's happy to see Moroha, see their parents. But we saw that in the trailer though. But still, for a few seconds extended though, and the twins finally meet their mother, and got the Kyokyo route, and more explanations about Riku and Kidding. And how he suspects at the end that things are starting to change. Like I said, how Grandpa forgot what the Shikon Jewel was. Things of the past are starting to affect the future. So, yeah, the whole degenerate age is starting to be upon them, I guess. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. So I'm really glad on that. Just set her back here. So that's oops. Oh, I'll pick it up in a second. But definitely get thumbs up onto this episode. I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next the next preview discussion of episode 5, and then next is the episode review of The Great Jahi as well. Episode 12, yeah. Later.